clear about this. If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She's the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball.
Angel Reese, the player who's been riding Caitlin Clark's coattails since their college days, apparently still believes she's the main character in the league's success story, even as ticket prices for their upcoming matchup have dropped faster than her field goal percentage this season.
Actual game Saturday. And guys, ticket prices for this game, ooh-wee. I thought they were coming for her too, right? Question mark? Yeah, that's what Angel Reese told us. And she decided that she wanted to play the villain role. Well, it seems that people would rather show up and pay big money to watch Batman and not the Joker.
The numbers don't lie. Folks, they never have, and they never will. But apparently, some people in this league are more interested in living in a fantasy world than facing the cold, hard reality staring them in the face. When Caitlin Clark was injured and ruled out for at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain, the entire WNBA ticket market experienced what can only be described as a financial earthquake, one that would make Wall Street traders weep in despair.
The cheapest ticket when Caitlin Clark was playing basketball was $45. And that was because they were filling the stands and there was competition there. People wanted to go watch her play. Now that she's not playing because she's out, because she's injured, the cheapest ticket is $3. Yes, I'm pretty sure a hot dog is more expensive than the seats to go watch these women play basketball. Caitlin Clark is literally making the franchise better. She's bringing in more revenue and she's making more people watch the basketball game.
Let's talk about what happened to the Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game, scheduled for June 7th at the United Center. Before Caitlin Clark's injury announcement, tickets were selling for an average of $210, with the cheapest get-in price at a respectable $86ers. Then came the news that changed everything. Within 48 hours of the injury announcement, those same tickets dropped to an average of $95, with get-in prices plummeting to a mere $25. That's a staggering 71% nosedive.
Fever Sky tickets dropped 71% on TickPick after Caitlin Clark injury. The get-in price for the Chicago Sky versus Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever game was $86. After Caitlin Clark's injury announcement is now down to $25. And you Angel Reese fangirls will still believe and think that Angel Reese is the reason why people are watching the WNBA. It was as delusional as Angel Reese is and as delusional as her fans.
But here's where it gets truly remarkable, where Angel Reese's delusion reaches heights that would make Mount Everest jealous. Despite the catastrophic drop in ticket demand, despite the undeniable proof that Caitlin Clark is the engine driving this league's financial success, Reese continues to act as if she's somehow an equal draw. The same player who's been performing in half-empty arenas for most of her career now suddenly sees herself as a co-star in this production when, in reality, she's barely a supporting character.
Angel Reese said the WNBA was popular because of her. Why are the views dropping? She said she was popular. How can we get people to watch? I don't even watch. To make the game more popular, we're gonna let fans bet on Angel Reese missed layups per game. Right now, the over-under is at...
The contrast between these two players' impact on the league is so stark, it's almost comedic. When Caitlin Clark plays, games average 1.178 million viewers. Without her, a meager 394,000. That's a 199% gap, wider than the Grand Canyon, and twice as obvious. Yet somehow Angel Reese still believes she's part of the reason people are tuning in, even though every shred of evidence says otherwise.
No one, I mean no one, is paying to see Angel Reese attempt to play basketball. Hell, not even Mama Reese is paying to watch this lack of skill. My inside sources are telling me that Mama Reese demands free tickets. The Chicago Bravado, they happily oblige because they're also giving away free tickets to the other dozen or so people that show up to the arena.
Enjoying this? Please subscribe. Now let's examine what really happened when the rivalry was set to continue at the United Center. This wasn't just any venue change. The Chicago Sky moved the game from the 10,387-seat Wintrust Arena to the massive 23,500-seat United Center specifically to meet the overwhelming demand to see Caitlin Clark. they didn't make that move for Angel Reese. They didn't upgrade the venue because fans were clamoring to watch a struggling Chicago team. They did it because Clark sells tickets like no other player in league history. The most revealing comparison comes when we look at the tale of two tickets for these rival teams. For the June 7th game, after Clark's injury announcement, tickets on Vivid Seats are starting at just $14. But for their next matchup on July 27th, when Clark is expected to be healthy, those same tickets start at $82. That's an 83% difference. And the only variable is Caitlin Clark's availability. If Angel Reese were truly the draw she believes herself to be, wouldn't her presence alone be enough to maintain at least some semblance of ticket demand?
This ticket for the June 7th showdown is $14. The next Fever Sky game after that on July 27th, which like the June 7th game is taking place at Chicago's United Center, which seats 23,500 as opposed to 10,387. The cheapest ticket for that game next month is currently at $82, according to Vivid Seats. It gets much worse. Therefore, there's currently an 83% drop between the two.
But here's what makes this situation truly infuriating. Angel Reese's response to questions about her impact on the league has been to shut down any conversation that might force her to confront reality. When reporters asked if she still believed she was one of the reasons people are watching women's basketball, her response was a dismissive, "Next question." It's the kind of deflection you'd expect from someone who knows the truth would unravel the delusion they've been clinging to. The irony? Reese was actually correct when she originally said people watch because of both players, not just one. But she was right for the wrong reasons. People do watch because of Angel Reese. They watch to see her get outplayed, outclassed, and outshined by Caitlin Clark. She's the perfect foil the villain that makes Clark's heroic performances even more compelling.
As a basketball player, I've come to realize that watching Angel Reese is the most frustrating task for me on the planet. Yes, the whole planet. Watch how many times she gets blocked in this possession. What is that? Look at this. Go again. Look at this. Blocked again. She's just kind of just throwing it up there and getting blocked again. If I tear up in this video, I apologize. This is just disgusting for me to watch. The amount of layups she misses. Listen, I'm not a big hater, but bad basketball, and it's bad because she talks trash about it too. Like she thinks she's a bucket. Listen, I will be okay. Watch this. Watch the woman in the corner. Stand up. Sit down. You see her teammate sit up. Watch this slow mo.
The season opener between these two teams shattered records, becoming the most watched regular season WNBA game ever on an ESPN network, with 2.7 million viewers. But here's the question that should keep Angel Reese awake at night. Would that game have drawn anywhere near those numbers if it were just the Chicago Sky playing any other team? The answer is painfully obvious. When we zoom out and examine the broader impact on the league, Caitlin Clark's influence becomes impossible to ignore. During her rookie season in 2024, the Indiana Fever led the WNBA in total attendance, drawing 340,115 fans to arenas. They set a new league record for combined home and away attendance, attracting 643,343 fans across 40 games, an average of over 16,000 per game.
Caitlin Clark opens second season with a milestone audience against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, and that number is, drumroll please, 2.7 million viewers on average, with a peak of 3.1, up 115% versus last year's regular season ABC average. The Aces Liberty, which was the game prior, gave you 1.3 million average. Folks, 1.5 additional million people said, oh gosh, the Indiana Fever are back in action. Let me stop watching the Indianapolis 500 practice. Let me stop watching the PGA golf. Let me stop watching whatever it is I'm watching because Caitlin Clark's about to play.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky have struggled to even win games. This season, Reese has maintained her rebounding prowess, leading the league in that category. But rebounds don't sell tickets, and they certainly don't generate the kind of mainstream attention that transforms a niche sport into appointment television. The most damning evidence of Clark's singular impact comes from the specific price movements following her injury announcement. The Washington Mystics game saw average ticket prices fall from $160 to $136, a significant drop for what was supposed to be a marquee matchup. The Connecticut Sun game experienced an 18.5% decrease over just 3 days. These aren't minor fluctuations. These are seismic shifts that reflect the market's honest assessment of what drives demand in this league. But perhaps the most telling statistic is this: when the Sky and Fever met for their season finale last year, the average resale price for tickets surged to $386. Compare that to current prices for their upcoming game without Clark, where tickets are available for as low as $14. The difference is so stark, it's almost mathematical proof of who the real draw is in this supposed rivalry.
Things where I don't think the league realizes how much it relies. I don't think the league realizes how much it relies on Caitlin Clark. I think every fan knows how much it relies on Caitlin Clark. I think absolutely every fan knows. But like, Caitlin Clark is bigger than.
Angel Reese's insistence on staying relevant in this narrative has grown increasingly desperate as the evidence stacks up against her. She's taken to interacting more with fans during warm-ups and making frequent public appearances, doing whatever she can to maintain visibility in a league that's clearly moved past her. It's like watching someone try to stay in a conversation that's already ended. The cruel irony? Reese had a real opportunity. She could have embraced her role as the ideal antagonist to Caitlin Clark's protagonist, the player who makes games more compelling, by providing the very conflict that fuels great sports narratives. But instead, she's chosen denial, refusing to acknowledge her actual standing in the league's hierarchy. And the numbers from early 2025 tell the full story. According to Victory Live, the average WNBA ticket price is up 43% year over year, climbing from $120 in 2024 to $173 this season. But that surge is almost entirely driven by games featuring Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, who boast a league-leading $282 average ticket price for road games. The Fever account for 9 of the 10 highest-priced regular season matchups stayed on the road and 1 at home.
Take the W. It's going to mean more money for everybody. All the good players in the WNBA are going to make more money because of this. Hell, the NBA right now is about to have an Oklahoma City, Indiana finals. That thing's going to rate as poorly as those games in tape delay in the NBA finals in the 70s. This is going to be awful for NBA ratings, this matchup you're about to get in the NBA finals. Yet the WNBA continues to put up impressive ratings and numbers.
When Caitlin Clark signed autographs before the season opener, taking time to engage with fans who arrived early, it highlighted the genuine connection she has with the WNBA fan base. In contrast, Angel Reese's interactions often come across as calculated efforts to stay in the spotlight rather than sincere appreciation for the people supporting the league. That contrast becomes even sharper when you look at merchandise and memorabilia. Clark's autographed items through Panini range from $500 to $250, and they sold out quickly. Meanwhile, there's little to no buzz about Reese's merchandise fetching similar prices or generating comparable demand. The upcoming rematch between these teams in July presents a clear opportunity to settle this debate once and for all. If Angel Reese truly believes she's a major draw, she should welcome the comparison. But based on current ticket pricing trends, the market has already spoken. The July game, when Clark is expected to play, has tickets starting at $82 compared to just $14 for the June matchup without her. The verdict is in, and it's not in Reese's favor.
The Fever Sky this Saturday are down to $8 with Caitlin Clark out. Wow. Seats for the rematch in Chicago later this year are being listed for $165. Right here. Tickets as low as $8. Tickets as low as $165.
What makes Angel Reese's continued delusion so frustrating is that it actively undermines the incredible progress the WNBA has made. Instead of celebrating the player who has single-handedly elevated the league, we're forced to entertain distractions from secondary characters unwilling to accept their supporting roles. Caitlin Clark brought chartered flights to the league. She brought the mainstream media attention the WNBA has been chasing for decades. She brought viewership numbers that rival major men's sports. And yet, Angel Reese still believes she deserves equal credit for a revolution she had nothing to do with starting. It's like a backup singer insisting they're the reason people bought tickets to see Beyoncé perform. The delusion would be laughable if it weren't so damaging to the sport's continued growth. The reality is clear. The WNBA needs to protect and promote Caitlin Clark because she's irreplaceable. When she's injured, ticket prices collapse. When she's absent, viewership plummets. When she's not on the court, the league feels smaller, less relevant, less urgent. Angel Reese, meanwhile, is entirely replaceable, and the ticket market just delivered the mathematical proof of that harsh truth.
Backboard and went to the left side. She grabbed the rebound, shot it back on the other side. Grabbed the rebound again, shot it back in the middle. She had 5 rebounds in a 30-second span and scored no points.
Nuts.
I don't want to hear nothing. When you go 4 for 16 and you taking point-blank range shots, you're not very good. You're not very good.
The season opener between these two teams shattered records, becoming the most watched regular season WNBA game ever on an ESPN network, with 2.7 million viewers. But here's the question that should keep Angel Reese awake at night. Would that game have drawn anywhere near those numbers if it were just the Chicago Sky playing any other team? The answer is painfully obvious. When we zoom out and examine the broader impact on the league, Caitlin Clark's influence becomes impossible to ignore. During her rookie season in 2024, the Indiana Fever led the WNBA in total attendance, drawing 340,115 fans to arenas. They set a new league record for combined home and away attendance, attracting 643,343 fans across 40 games, an average of over 16,000 per game.